something you can't fix.
If you can't fix what's broken, you'll go insane.
It's Jay and Adam. It's Preview.
It's Preview's Fix It with Adam and Jay.
Hey, Peaches! Welcome to Fix It, where friends don't let friends fix pop culture alone.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Jay, and you're our listener.
Hey there, listeners.
We've sent care packages to the land of Listeria.
Listeria?
Oh, is that what I said last time?
No.
What did
I don't even remember. I said it was a Vlisland saga.
The Vlisland.
Vlisland.
Yeah, Vlisland. Them two.
Yes.
They all got care packages.
Vlisland.
From their wonderful podcast overlords.
Vlisland. It's next door to Montenegro, which is where the princess.
It's all
Princess
coming
Switch,
together,
yeah.
baby. It's all coming together.
We're part of the Christmas Prince. Christmas Prince.
That's right,
listeners.
Cinematic universe. During Christmas, you're gonna have to partake in the baking competition that will break the multiverse.
Blissland.
Blissland. Hey everybody, welcome to Fix It. This is our podcast where I'm Jay, that's Adam, and you may know us. From
where do they know us from, Jay?
they don't pull a me with me, okay? Don't do
I'm
that.
enough me for me. I don't need another me. Oh no, more Scots.
You may know us from
Scots.
The commander-in-chief of all Reactor podcasts.
Okay.
You may know us from the reaction channel Previewed on YouTube, where we react, review, riff to all of our amazing nerd content that just they keep trying to cram down our pie hole, and we say, yum, yum, yes, please, daddy, more.
Thank you. May I have another?
And this is our podcast Fixed It, where every week we take a piece of pop culture that maybe missed the mark, maybe didn't quite get there, maybe just, didn't get enough votes, and we fix it. And Adam specifically wants you all to know that not only do we just fix little parts of the podcast, the movie that we're watching. Isn't this a part where you wanted?
No. I was thinking when we pitch the show, when we do the normal reaction videos, we actually just say what exactly it is we're doing. Because sometimes, we work really hard on this podcast, we really enjoy it, and we want more people to listen to it.
Heck yeah.
So the thought being, a lot of people watch the reaction videos, that maybe if we actually tell them exactly what the podcast is, instead of just the pitch line.
Beat for beat, the whole thing. We tell them
we go into an hour and a half full of just, storytelling of how we would fix Captain Marvel, which, by the way, is coming later this year.
Yeah.
But, it's hey, we fix them, we fix these things from pop culture by actually rewriting them and then presenting them to each other.
Yeah,
it's like a storytelling podcast,
and it's the best. And you're listening to it right now.
Yeah,
aren't you glad you guys know the show because you're listening to it, guys? There's a lot of balls in the air, so we take just a piece of pop culture and we fix it.
We do, Jay,
and
that's
today,
what we do here.
And today, because it is President's Day, or yesterday was President's Day. We hope you had a wonderful President's Day. Celebrating the way you always do.
Yep.
Shooting T-shirt cannons into the bog.
Oh,
and
mattress sales.
And mattress sales.
Do you guys want to sleep on a Serta sleep number mattress?
The most festive of mattress sales.
Yesterday was your last chance. I sure hope you got a new mattress.
Yeah, because if you don't, you got to wait till next year.
Yep, sorry. President's Day only comes once a year, everybody.
the mattress salesman, go back up to the mountains and get snowed in.
They gotta get busy making next year's mattresses.
Because this was President's Day, Adam and I will be fixing 2012's Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
The movie I forgot existed.
The movie that I think a lot of people forgot existed. It was not really streaming anywhere.
No, it wasn't.
It was hard to find information about it online.
Yeah, and here's the thing. It's a 20th Century Fox movie.
Yes.
So you'd think it'd be under the Disney umbrella, maybe on Hulu. Nope, it's nowhere.
It's nowhere.
At least in America. I heard it was somewhere in Canada. It was on
I
Hulu
think on
Canada.
Disney Plus you can get it on Hulu or Disney
Hulu
in Canada.
In Canada.
Yes. in the nation of Hulu,
Yes.
you could find it on in Canada.
Canada Plus, yes.
If you change your VPN to Hulu and then go to Canada, you could have got it on Disney Plus, but it would have been in French. It's French Canadian.
Sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu. Bonjour. Bonjour. It's so fun to say.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Bonjour. Anyways, we'll be fixing Abraham. We watched this movie. I watched this yesterday with the Peaches on the Discord watch along. If you haven't joined the preview Discord, the link is down below. I highly recommend it. Just do it. I don't need to sell it.
It's very
to
fun.
You. You're missing out if you don't.
You
And
really are.
That's on you.
Oh,
that's
okay.
your fault.
Sure.
So how about that?
So how about that?
And it was actually, honestly, there were more people at the watch along than I thought there were going to be.
Oh.
Considering how hard it is to find this movie.
Yes.
And I feel bad sometimes when I'm like, I just spent the $3 on Amazon, you guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, more people showed up than I thought they were going to, and we had a great time. But I'm going to be honest with you. This movie is actually pretty darn good.
Oh, the movie rocks, Jay.
Yeah, it's like I don't know why we forgot this movie so hard, because this movie like really goes there. Like we did this, like this was kind of like it's President's Day, let's do this as a bit. And then we were watching this movie and I was like, oh yeah, I like it when Abraham Lincoln spins that axe and chops trees in half. I like it a lot.
Well, yes. Well, here's the thing. One, we didn't know what we were going to do this week, and a couple Peaches have been like, hey, do Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, President's Day. Great idea. We'll take it.
Yeah.
Two, this movie on its face, just by the title alone, is Nanoboat's insane.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's stupid. Why would anyone... Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter? Okay, sure. I'll see that when it comes to, I guess, DVD. Streaming wasn't really around back then. But then when I saw it, I was like, oh, no, this is actually pretty fun.
Oh, yeah.
This is absurd, but in the best way possible.
Absolutely. And it's like it's the kind of thing where like it could be just like a kind of a slasher, doesn't take itself too seriously, like kind of action romp.
Yep.
But like there are some like serious historical moments that happen in this that it's like you're seeing a lot of like, and first of all, the actor that they got to play Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
When they put him in his Abraham makeup, like he looks like Abraham Lincoln.
He does.
And you see him like in the Oval Office, like really like reeling with the ramifications of the Civil War.
Yeah.
And it's real serious. But then they also happen to really be taking seriously that the South is mostly vampires.
It's mostly run by vampires.
It's like, oh, we have to win the Civil War. It's like, oh, because like, because slavery is wrong? Yes. But also like, but also yeah, it's double bad. It's super duper bad. But I was like, oh yeah, we should this movie should be celebrated more.
It really should.
Because like
Every President's Day.
Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Vampire
Hunter.
Slayer. But before we like delve deeper into this film,
Oh, yes?
Adam,
Yeah, Jay?
how you doing?
Jay, I'm doing great.
Oh, okay.
We saw Ant-Man Quantumania yesterday.
Yeah, and you were over the moon about it.
I'm still over the moon about
I
it.
was not like
I'm down to the quantum realm and back all over it. You know what it is, Jay? It's because it is, and I'm not sure if I said this during our review, which probably a lot of you have probably seen at this point.
Yeah.
Even though we were taping this before it's actually out. It's just a nice, tight 3-act structure that I think the past couple of Marvel films kind of haven't really had a ton of.
no.
And like as good or as an entertaining time as like Love and Thunder was, Wakanda Forever was, like
Multiverse of Madness was.
Uh-huh.
No, Multiverse of Madness was. No, I need you to say it.
Uh-huh. That
No. Look at me in the eyes.
Yeah, Jay?
And Multiverse of Madness was.
WandaVision was pretty good, yeah. I liked it, really liked it. What is grief if not love persevering, Jay?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Good suits.
I liked Multiverse of Madness and Adam did not.
I didn't dislike it. There's a lot of good things to like in the movie.
He wants to fix it and I don't want to.
I want to fix it so bad,
It's
Jay.
fine. Anyways,
I want to fix it so bad.
Continue with your point.
Anyways, the past few Marvel films, although while good and not, I don't think I am not having any superhero fatigue. I know it seems like the new trade is like it's like the things have turned now. Nerd culture's been on top too long, and it can kind of feel like people are trying to be like, well, fatigue. These movies are bad. Like, guys, they're not. Stop trying. I feel like an agenda's being pushed. Like, please stop trying to make these movies stop happening.
Yeah.
I still love them. They're still quite good. But this one in particular, after the past ones, for me personally, I felt like some of the decisions going into Act 3 for like the big fights was like, well, I mean, this is fun, but also like, why would you attack everyone on the water? I feel this might be a little weird. Maybe we could have had a better opportunity to fight them somewhere else and then trap Namor on a beach somewhere. But like this one is just like, nah, man, this is tight. Here's the plan. This is why it works. Everyone's been leading up to the point. Here are the ants. Like, this setup is amazing. This fight is great. Everyone's get character moments. Like, this is just so good. It was not, and it wasn't too quippy. The jokes were all in the right place. Everyone had cool character moments. Scott was not as goofy as he was before. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but like, he was a dad.
Yeah.
He's like, Cassie, I don't want you going out doing things because I'm your dad, and I know how dangerous it is because I was trapped in the quantum realm for 5 years, and like, please don't. I want better for you.
I've also been to jail a couple of times.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like,
and I did not enjoy it.
It's not fun. I want better for you. You don't have to do this. And she's like, rah, but she wants to save the world. It's just the dynamics were so good. Hope was awesome. Kang was terrifying. He did such a good job. And now there are so many more Kangs. And like the timelines from Loki. I remember all these things. It was so good. It was so good. I loves it. I loves it so much.
Yeah.
And now we're doing this.
You said it was in your top 5.
Yes, it is.
What's your top 5 then?
Well, I was trying to go back and like try to rewatch our. I was thinking about this actually, and I was like, hey, remember when we did the countdown way back in the day?
Oh yeah.
So obviously,
those still get actually a good amount of views.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
Oh. So obviously, I don't know specific order, but clearly Endgame.
Okay.
Just because I really like, and I think this is why this movie, I like the rally moment.
Yes.
The Helm's Deep
no one's ever mad at that.
Yeah, because and Quantum Mania really set up this like rebellion, like we're gonna do it, and then Kang enters the field. It's like, no, you straight up can't. You were doing really well, and then the general showed up, and he's bamfing all of you. You're all dead. You actually didn't have a shot.
Yeah.
All he needs to go is brah, and you're all dead until the ant showed up, and like, oh, the one card up our sleeve, and like, oh yeah, Hank talks to ants. He's like, get him, future ants. Like the one thing he never saw come. Anyways, much like Endgame, this had a great rally moment. I'd probably put up the first Black Panther.
Okay.
Winter Soldier.
Okay.
And Guardians 2. Just off the top of my head. There might be a couple more. Like, well, let me shift around a little bit. But I think just off the top of my head, yeah, those 5.
Yeah, it's a pretty good 5. Pretty good 5.
And there are plenty of other really good Marvel films, but just like it was Act 3 for me. It all just so came together, starting from when Scott goes down to get the engine and all the possible Scotts team up.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like, and everyone starts fighting, and and then Baskin Robbins Scott falls off the thing. He's like, I'm really sorry, buddy. And then everything's like, oh no, he's not gonna do it. And then one person says, or I think you hear is Cassie's like, no, we gotta do it for Cassie. And then all possibilities were like, oh yeah, everyone works together because there's no possibility that anyone wouldn't work for their daughter.
Yeah.
And everyone it's like, for your daughter. It's like, oh, it's just so great. It was just so amazing. Hope comes in. Oh, and then everything's it's just so great. It's just so great. Did I mention I love this movie? I love this movie.
It's a good vibe.
Hug.
I felt the same way after Shang-Chi. I was just like,
Shang-Chi. He's sitting on the outside right now, but he's like, that's also like,
yeah,
5. It's 5.1. The 4.1 is like he's there.
Yeah,
that movie was just like watch that movie 1,000 times.
I totally get it. Well, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, and we're doing this. I love doing this. And we're doing bonus action like tech stuff tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I love. You know what? I realized I love Tech Day.
I hate Tech Day.
I know. I'm getting that.
Yeah, Tech Day gives me
agita.
Yeah, it stresses me out.
Because we're putting the puzzle together.
Yeah. I'm good at creating what's on the puzzle.
Yeah, I like puzzles.
Yeah, you like putting the puzzle
I like
together.
putting the puzzles together.
Yeah. I'm good at design. I'm good at like what's the artwork on the puzzle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. No. That's
More unicorns.
That's 1,000% our dynamic.
colors.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, you like putting the car together, and I just want to drive it.
Let's get the edges first, and then we're gonna separate by colors. And like, all right, we gotta figure this out. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Is it going to be great?
It's gonna be great. I hope and pray. But also, we have structured this content that if it's bad, it just goes away.
You'll never see it.
I will say this.
You're only gonna see the good stuff.
If I can recommend, if you want to get into content creation, just take a couple of months making stuff that you don't have to show anybody. Like they say that, like, oh, if you want to do it, just do it. Just start doing it. It's like, that's all well and good. But like, if you're so afraid of it being bad, just spend a month making stuff that you don't have to put out yet. And as long as it's evergreen, you're golden. And then if like you take a look at it and you're like, this is actively bad.
Beans.
You also can just get rid of it.
It's first draft.
You can delete it.
Yeah.
You can always do that. Or most of the things you're probably making are probably better than you think they are.
Yes. And also, if you start making it, you're just gonna get better anyways.
Yeah.
So just realize, like,
We started this channel with an iPhone and a really crappy lav mic plugged into the auxiliary port.
hanging from the ceiling.
Hanging from the ceiling.
It was just dangling.
It was like a fishing
dangling,
pole.
Yep, just dangling off camera, just above frame. Yep.
Oh man!
Can you look? I you know what? I completely forgot about it until you just mentioned it. That's right. We did.
I can't even go back and bring myself to watch some of that old stuff because it's just. We also look like paper ghosts. We are as white as freshly driven snow.
Well, we didn't know how to white balance cameras at the time.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, we are pretty pale boys, but I mean, it's pretty tough.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy. But that's great, man. I'm glad you're doing. I'm glad you liked your movie. It made me happy that you. It was nice to see you so excited because the past couple of movies you've been kind of like, and it's like, man, beans. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But Abraham Lincoln,
Vampire Hunter.
I'm mad about how forgotten this movie is.
Yeah, it's quite forgotten.
I'm like kind of like because let's be clear. For today's fixes, Adam and we're actually not going to be fixing Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
It's unfixable.
It's unfixable. There's really not much that you need to tweak.
You don't at all.
But Adam and I are going to be making our own. We are going to be writing from whole cloth our own presidential monster movies.
You know, is it a spin-off of the series? Is it a sequel to the series? It's just another. Yeah. Yes, because this movie is just too good. There's nothing, and the book apparently is way better.
Yeah.
Which I remember, like, people in the comment section of the watch along were like, "You gotta read the book. You gotta read the book. Oh my god, you guys, seriously, read the book. It's so good." I was like, "Wow, okay." Because obviously, one of the things about this movie. Well, before we get that, maybe we should do the plot drop. We should do the plot drop because for a lot of people have either forgotten this movie or never saw it because it came and went pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Would you like me to do the plot drop?
I can do the plot drop.
Oh, okay.
You said you were.
I did. But we didn't talk about it beforehand.
We did not.
Okay.
I'll do the plot drop.
Sure. Hey, Jay, I think it's time for that plot drop. Hey.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you.
Brian made a really good soundbite, and I kind of wanted to match the energy of that cool plot drop thing.
I appreciate it. It's probably not in the video edit, but hey, what's up, video?
Say hello to your mother for me.
Hey. So, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. Abraham Lincoln is a young boy helping his dad on the docks. He gets in the way of some guys who are beating up some slaves, and he's like, "No, it's wrong." And the bad guys turn out to be vampires, and they end up firing the dad. And he's like, "You need to pay me the money you owe me."
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Nah." And so the vampire kills his mom while Abraham Lincoln sees the vampire do it.
Oh, that's right.
And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he gets a vendetta against vampires. Vengeance. And so he is in a bar, and
Years later,
as an adult, he has held this grudge, and he hatches a plan to go kill the vampire that killed his mom. And so he goes and tries to do it, and it doesn't go super great. He gets him in one eye, but the guy survives.
Mm-hmm.
He's at a bar drinking after the fact, and another guy finds him and is like, hey, like, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to fight a vampire. I can teach you how to fight a vampire. So he's like, oh, okay, great. And so I'm going to send you, you need to go to this, Springfield, where you can learn to be a lawyer and work in a shop, but also I'm going to send you vampire hits and teach you how to vampire hunt. And he gets a cool axe that he covers in silver, and he bodies a bunch of vampires. But then he gets mad because he's like, I keep wanting to, you keep sending me names, but it's not the name that I want. So he finally sends him the name of the guy that killed his mom, and he goes and kills that vampire.
Yeah, he does.
And then killing that vampire gets the attention of a lot of the vampires down south, and we find out that a lot of southern plantation owners are vampires.
Yep.
And a large amount of the reason for the slave trade is that they are eating the slaves. And it's very spooky, scary. It's very upsetting.
Yep.
And so basically, like, all the events of Abraham Lincoln come up, the Civil War, and it basically comes down to the North versus the South, but the South are vampires.
Yep, they are.
And then eventually, Abraham Lincoln saves the day by figuring out how to make all of their bullets and bayonets silver to kill all of the vampires.
At Gettysburg, at the Battle of Gettysburg.
At the Battle of Gettysburg.
They're about to lose, and the vampires show up. It's like, oh no!
And then they win the day with all the silver bullets.
Huzzah!
And there's a train betrayal.
There is a train betrayal.
And and then Abraham Lincoln, goes on to be president, wins the war, is assassinated, and then. Oh yeah, and then the guy who was helping him was a vampire the whole time.
Yep.
And the end of the movie, he's approaching somebody else just the same way he approached Abraham Lincoln.
In the present-day time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still killing vampires.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
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 Stupid vampires.
Yeah. Vampires. Vampire hunter.
This is a fun movie.
Yes.
I think the main reason why it didn't catch on with people is because it went over the whole scope of Abraham Lincoln's life. Mm-hmm. And that made the scope of the movie a little large. Because, if it was just a condensed story about Abraham Lincoln murdering vampires, that'd be one thing. But it, covered his entire life, which stretched out a lot of the action or the story over too long of a time, I think.
Yeah.
Because, the fight scenes are really good. But the movie is only about 100 minutes or so. But, covering his entire life makes it they have to do a lot in this 100 minutes, so there's a lot of montages of fights where, if it was a shorter condensed, if it was just, because it's kind of like Assassin's Creed Vampire, right?
Oh, yeah.
Someone killed my mom, I want to kill the guy that does it, and then turns out, he's part of a gang, and I can just work my way through the
whole
gang.
Bigger thing.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
But it is that, but just stretched out over so many years, and we have to get through, Lincoln's political career, the Civil War shows up, so there's lots of, historical things that you want to hit.
And that probably works in the book more than it works in the movie.
Probably, because I can take the time to go through these things.
Yeah, but I kind of liked that it was it was the kind of thing where it was look, if you're going to do Abraham Lincoln, I want to see the grand scope of things. And if you can tie vampires into the whole scope of it, it's frustrating almost how well the concept of vampires fits into Abraham Lincoln's life.
It really does, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It makes sense, why everyone thought Mary Todd was a little crazy.
Yes.
Because she's just I know what killed my son. It wasn't typhoid, but no one will believe me. So
yeah.
We're also dealing with vampires who can, be outside. They figured out how to do that.
Sunblock. They figured it out, yeah.
But also, the one thing that always frustrated me about their vampires in this movie is that they can turn invisible, and why they didn't ever lead. Here's the thing,
they could?
Yeah.
Oh,
turn invisible. This is why you don't watch the movie at 1.5 speed.
I missed it.
Clearly, they turned invisible on you.
Oh, okay.
It was a whole thing.
Oh.
They can turn invisible.
Oh, that's right. The shopkeeper guy turned invisible. He threw salt at him.
Yeah, remember?
There's only the one guy.
That's not true at all.
Oh.
There was that one big scene where the Confederate soldiers are rushing in, and they all turn invisible.
Oh, that's right.
It's a great shot, but I was why not just start invisible and Get the.
Why not start invisible? Indeed, yeah, you're right.
Why not just be invisible the entire time?
Yeah, you're right. You have the power.
Just be invisible.
Just be invisible. Well, then it's their own damn fault for dying.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid vampires.
Stupid vampires.
They got what they deserve, Jay.
And how? Get them.
But tying vampires to antebellum South and like being plantation owners and like there's another reason for the slave trade is like, oh, this is very good.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, the Civil War is actually about, we're actually fighting Confederate vampires. Awesome.
Yeah.
This is the Battle of Gettysburg is because
Confederate vampires. Yeah, it feels like
that's a dumb sentence, but also that's genius.
yeah, it's like Nazis from the dark side of the moon. You know, it's
Yes.
like, it's just like
It's
yeah,
Iron Sky. Wait, there were Nazis on the moon? Yeah, shut up, just go with it.
Yeah, let's get them. Let's go get them.
Yes.
Oh man, we put two things. We put two things we want to fight and put them into one thing. Double fight.
Double fight.
Double fight. Love it.
Oh,
Yes.
Lincoln's got to get all the silver in D.C. and then ship it up to on a railroad, and
Yeah,
it's just
man.
like, oh, cool, cool train fight, all the stuff is going. This is amazing.
Yeah, dude.
There's no silver on this railroad. Yeah, because there's two different railroads. Oh, I totally forgot about the Underground Railroad.
Yeah, dude.
That's so smart.
Yeah, it's so smart. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real good. It's real good. Yeah, and you figured out a way to like get Harriet Tubman in there. Yep. It's real good.
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 So yeah, I think like it's just the action goes by so fast. So there's a lot of action montages because they're doing the whole scope. Plus the
That horse fight was nuts.
That was nuts.
It was nuts.
And that was pretty much pushing technology at the time in
It had
2012.
to have been.
Because this movie didn't
It felt like it was pushing the technology of my brain. It was like, there's a lot happening right now.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Also, this is very scary to be in a horse.
A stampede?
Yeah, it's very scary.
Yeah.
I don't like that one bit.
Well, long live the king, Jay. What?
You know, if we are Disney bad guys, you're Scar, right?
How am I Scar?
Okay, if we're Disney bad guys,
Or
then who
Disney?
do you think you are?
If I were Disney bad guys.
Yes.
I
I didn't say you're Scar. Just you're Scar.
Oh, yeah, I'm Scar.
Yeah, if we're Disney bad guys, you're absolutely Scar.
And you are.
Ursula.
Yes,
Duh.
I had a feeling. Yeah.
Poor unfortunate souls. Yeah, man, I'll steal your voice. Sign right here.
I bet you will.
I'll turn you into. Yeah, you would look real good as that weird little seaweed
a
creature.
little newt or whatever.
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
sea newt.
They're a little seaweed. They're kelp.
Little kelp.
Yeah, I'm gonna kelp you.
Oh, don't kelp me.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I'll kelp you right here.
No thanks. I'm good.
Poor unfortunate souls.
This is a fun movie.
Yeah, man.
The actors was great. Everyone was. Alan Tudyk's in it for a hot second.
He sure is.
Prince Agamar is the main bad guy. Who's the Knight's Tale bad guy?
Oh, to me, he'll always be the bad guy from The Patriot,
Who's the bad guy from the Patriot?
right? Isn't
No,
that guy?
that was the. He may be one of them, but it was the other guy who was like the main bad British soldier.
Oh, is that not the same dude?
I don't believe so.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They look similar, though.
They do look similar.
You know? Okay. Oh. The whole time I was like, yeah, I talked about The Patriot a lot last night while Kimberly and I were watching it.
Everyone must have been real confused.
Yeah, they really were.
Yeah.
Now that makes a lot of sense. Like, Jay really likes The Patriot. Like, I mean, I do like The Patriot. It's a great film.
It's a fun film. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it's not the same dude.
not the same guy.
Yeah, that guy's, he's a good bad guy.
He's a good bad guy.
He's the type of actor that like whenever he plays he's also Jasper in The Holiday. Have you ever seen The Holiday?
No, that's the one where they switch. That's a rom-com where they switch.
Yeah, he plays the bad boyfriend Jasper.
Oh.
He's the type of person where like if he ever shows up like as a good guy in a movie, I'm like,
I don't know about him.
I don't know.
I'm waiting for that shoe to drop.
We're gonna watch all the way through the credits, and they're gonna tell us that guy's bad. He's like, he was playing the Pope. I'm like, yeah, bad Pope,
Bad Pope.
evil Pope.
Pope. Yep,
Yeah,
clearly.
yeah. No. Yeah, good sunglasses in this movie too.
Oh yeah, with the
All
little.
the good
Oh yeah.
sunglasses. Oh man, that is a good look.
Yeah, this movie had it all except an audience.
Except an audience. I mean, this. I think Brian will probably tell us in a moment, but I just like wonder how much money this movie made.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I could see it probably making a little bit of a profit, but not enough.
I mean,
Because just off the name of it, just off the name, it'd be like a lot of people be like, all right, well, Movies are only like $8.
I had seen
Sure.
this movie before, but I can't remember if I saw it in the theaters or not.
I don't think you did. You had to have been like, old school HBO when, before streaming existed.
I suppose. But I think we've come to the perfect time for Brian. Roll that beautiful bean fun fact footage. The part of the show where Brian, our producer, tells us all the things that we don't know.
Thank you, gentlemen. Producer Brian here, because today we are trying to fix 2012's Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. This movie was directed by Timur Bekmambetov and written by Seth Grahame-Smith. It stars Benjamin Walker, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Dominic Cooper, Anthony Mackie, and Rufus Sewell. This movie cost anywhere between $70 and $100 million, and it made $116.4 million. And if you care, it has a 34% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm also going to chime in for just 1 second on the Disney villains conversation. If we're including Pixar villains, Jay is Syndrome. Anyway, back to you, gentlemen.
Terrible job, Brian.
You think each week he's going to get better at it, but... I think this is episode 30, but good lord.
Is this episode 30?
It might be, yeah, something like that.
No, you did a great job, Brian. We're just kidding.
Did he?
No, see, when I say he did a bad job, it's funny, but when you say it,
no, because I'm Scar.
Brian did a good job.
Long live the king.
You don't be mean to Brian. I get to be mean to Brian. Okay?
Well, what if Brian's my best friend? My first best friend? Huh? Like that? Huh? You're my second. How's that feel? Huh?
Perfectly acceptable.
Congratulations, Brian. You got promoted.
It's perfectly acceptable. I mean, it'd be a little weird because you haven't known him as long as you've known me.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're just that good.
We're just that good.
What can you do?
That good. Huh.
Okay.
I think we should probably move into fixing this.
We should move into fixing.
All right.
I am going first because Jay apparently has written a masterpiece.
Actually, I have a notebook this time.
He's got a notebook.
I know.
It's insane. Okay, so mine is a direct sequel to Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Okay.
Mine...
like a direct sequel.
Yep, direct sequel.
Okay.
This is the next movie in the President v. Monster universe?
Okay.
Sure. It is Theodore Roosevelt, Lycan Hunter.
Nice.
So we open on New York City in 1866. We see a couple of young boys playing in the streets, just going about doing their business, having fun, and a mom sticks her head out a window and goes, "Teddy Roosevelt, you get in here for supper right now." So we see young Teddy Roosevelt, who's like, playing with the kids, but also just having a little hard time breathing. Like, you can tell he's a little behind everybody else.
Oh, okay.
And he makes his way up to his building, and he goes up to his apartment, and we see what just post Civil War NYC is like.
Yeah.
Because and unions are starting to pop off, or at least the attempt to try to unionize.
Yeah.
The workers is about to happen. The Industrial Revolution's just about to start. We see a little bit of action between the classes and stuff like that. So Teddy has dinner with his parents, and then afterwards, we see after he's like, "Okay, go to bed." He's like, "Oh yeah, Mom, I'm gonna go to bed." But we see like he gets out of his bed, he sneaks out of his apartment, like out the window, whatever, because he wants to practice what the kids were playing because he's not.
That's cute.
So he's like, because you can see he's determined. He's got a fire in his. He's like an anime hero. Like he's the main character of an anime show. He's like, I'm determined. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, that is Roosevelt energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, main anime character energy. Yeah.
So he's practicing, at night doing like maybe even though there's no alleys and maybe there were alleys back in New York City back then. But he's practicing trying to do his thing, and then out of nowhere, in the middle of the night, he gets attacked by a big hairy creature and gets scratched. I know, but he survives. He crawls back home. And it's like, oh no, he's really sick, and it's really scary. Until one day, about a week later or so, Teddy's in bed and his mom's like by his bedside, and he's just like he's barely hanging on, and a visitor comes to the house and says, "Hello, my name is Henry Studges, who is the guy who taught Lincoln all the things. His name was Henry.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And I heard about this attack of young Theodore, and I believe I can help." And so we get some dialogue between Henry and the mom about how Henry, was just down in Washington a little while ago, and he lost a close friend there, and now he's just kind of traveling around trying to help. He's a doctor and trying to help where he can, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So he meets Teddy one-on-one, and he realizes like, I know what's going on. Okay, for whatever reason, I think Teddy, that you are going to be able to survive this, but it's going to take a lot of hard work, and your body might be going through some changes, but if through effort and will, you should be okay.
Huh.
Because this is kind of Teddy Roosevelt was like, this kid loved working out, and he put his body to the test.
Yeah, I imagine him like lifting old-fashioned kettlebells and doing like old-fashioned calisthenics and be like, power level 9,000, ha-ha!
So,
bully!
I mean, not wrong.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get a little like a mini training montage, childhood montage, because much like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, we're going through Teddy's entire life here, so we kind of have to montage a few things.
Yeah.
So we're going to montage Teddy's childhood here of him, getting more healthy, trying to run more, exercise more.
Gotcha.
He was homeschooled, so he's reading a bunch. He's reading a lot of naval history, which comes in later during the Spanish-American War. But also he was at the Naval Academy. It's like there's a lot of stuff in. There's just Teddy Roosevelt did
A lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
He died at 60. He did a ton of stuff in his life.
And not because he was sick, because he just did everything.
He just did everything.
He's like, there's nothing left to do. I guess I just die.
So, further drafts of this would introduce as much as possible, but just like, he just did a lot. So, a lot of physical training, a lot of reading. He's really smart. He's getting all strong, but we kind of see him kind of be a little bit stronger than he should be able to be.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. He's like, wait a second, he shouldn't be able to lift that. But he can. Because somehow he beat lycanthropy. So he's learning about all this stuff. Everything's really cool. And we get the montage of, New York City. Industrial Revolution starts. His dad's, I think they're a slightly like upper class, just a little bit like middle upper class or whatever. But we just see the general life, what life is like in New York City. Because he was a very progressive president. So like this montage is going to really inform like some of the policies he's as president.
Gotcha.
So we see that stuff in New York City. And then later on, he meets a girl. They get married. They have a daughter. And in the background of all of this montage, we see that there are still a bunch of mysterious deaths in New York City over the 20-ish years this montage goes over, right?
Sure.
And so everything's going great for Teddy. He's got a daughter, and he just born. And then 2 days after his daughter is born, the same lichen that attacked him 20-ish years ago comes in. And I was like, because he remembers him because he scratched him, and kills Teddy's mom and attacks his wife, who survives the attack but then dies later on that same day. And that's actually historically accurate. That happened in real life. His mom died.
A werewolf attack?
No. His mom died, and then his wife died like 12 hours later.
Ugh.
With their daughter being only 2 days old.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's messed up.
Yikes on bikes.
Yeah, it sucked. It sucked. So, although reading is like, I think Teddy Roosevelt would make it like, oh, that's a perfect Act 1 break, because that's a second inciting incident for him to go be a lichen hunter. So like, thanks history.
Yeah.
So Teddy is distraught over the death of his wife and his mom, and that is when Henry shows up again.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, I've been kind of keeping tabs on what's going on, and now that it's been like 20 years, you're 26 now, here's what's really going on. When you were a kid, you were attacked by a lichen, and I'm pretty sure that that same lichen just killed your mom and your wife. And for whatever reason, you survived the attack and gained some of their abilities without any of their weaknesses. So,
she turning him into a werewolf blade.
Yes, and I know that
Blade wolf.
You clearly
wereblade.
Sure. You clearly want vengeance, and I can help you get that. My name is, he can maybe a little bit about Lincoln, but in generalities. And what happened was that a friend of mine actually dealt a mortal blow to the vampires that used to take over, that you were kind of running the South, and thankfully 20 years ago he dealt them a blow that diminished their influence down there. But in doing so, in the power vacuum, the lichens swept in from Europe. And so now we see a lot of upper crust people in New York City and probably some other, states kind of just like happen to be lichens.
Okay, so the lichens are like upper crust. It's
Yep.
the 1% of New York.
Yep.
Okay.
Because since Teddy Roosevelt was a kind of a progressive president and did a lot of good things for the lower classes, for the time being, of course, that, hey, why don't we make the enemy one and the same, just like Abraham Lincoln did.
No, I'm into it.
So they go off to the Dakotas to a cattle ranch, and this is what actually happened in real life. Teddy went off to mourn the deaths of his mom, his wife at a cattle ranch in the Dakotas for a little while. So training montage of becoming a lichen hunter at a cattle ranch. And so then Teddy comes back to the city and, kind of like with the first movie, just starts hunting lichens. And then realizes that, hey, a lot of these guys are in the upper crust of New York society, and then New York in general a little bit, because he's like, I figured out another way to battle these guys, because he's very learned and read his entire life. I'm going to go into politics. So I can hunt them in the streets at night, but also I can I can champion policies that will ruin their pocketbooks and, give the lower classes a leg up against them.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of, a little bit like what Lincoln did.
Well, and also Roosevelt reformed the meat packing. And so, I like the idea of the werewolves being,
Great detail, yeah.
Yeah, of, they're all, meat packing barons, because they're wolves. And it's meat.
So,
I'm not sure you get it. It's because, wolves eat meat.
Oh, because does wolves eat meat?
They like
meat.
Yeah.
So they would be in the meatpacking district down on 14th Street
Yes.
back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to make that clear.
Cool.
Feeling good.
I feel great, man.
Excellent. Move on.
Fantastic. Good point.
Beautiful.
So a little montage of him doing in politics, working at the New York legislature either during the day or whatever, and hunting lichens. And then it turns out that while he's doing this, he's learning that a lot of these lichens are coming from Spain.
I really thought you were about to say space.
Space.
But Spain.
Spain.
Okay, Spain.
Yes,
España.
And so he was in the legislature for a while, and then the USS Maine sinks, and which starts off the Spanish-American War.
Cool.
And so realizing
not cool that happened, but
No.
you know what I'm saying.
Yes. So, historical thing happened, and then realizing that, wait a second, these things are lining up. Of a lot of these lichens are coming through Spain, and they're of just some type of there are lichens in Spain, and now this is happening. Clearly, Spain is trying to give their influence down in Cuba and in that area. Is this is a perfect opportunity for me to go down there and take care of business. So, because of his naval background and stuff, he goes down there and does he leads the naval battle and kicks Spain's ass on the sea.
Yeah.
And then it's and then all these there's a Cuban Civil War going on. I believe I get this part right. There's a Cuban Civil War going on because they were rebelling against Spain's colonial ideals or whatever of trying to colonize Cuba. And so that's when he does the Rough Riders.
Yes.
He leaves the Navy to go do this, to take over what would eventually become the Rough Riders. And so it turns out that the colonial ambitions on Cuba, of course, are being run by Spanish lichens. So he teaches the Rough Riders, hey, here's how you kill werewolves. And so the Rough Riders run roughshod over all these Spanish lichens in Cuba.
Awesome.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
So
does his he survive the lichen attack and has lichen powers? Does he fight with his bare hands? How does it manifest?
just strength and ability and his burliness.
Okay.
His barreled chest. Bully.
Bully to industry.
All his mustache.
The working man. National parks. Yosemite.
So, Teddy helps the Rough Riders, do awesome stuff down there. He comes back a war hero and becomes governor of New York. I was like, huzzah! Now I'm running the state.
Man,
you Lycans are in trouble. But that's soon after he gets asked to be McKinley's vice president, and he's like, oh, I could do all sorts of stuff as vice president. Sure. So he becomes vice president. McKinley wins the election. Now they're president and vice president.
Awesome.
But then, on September 14th, 1901, a few months after being elected, Lycans attempt to assassinate both the president and the vice president because they do not want someone who knows about them to be in charge of the federal government.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately for them, Teddy Roosevelt knows how to kill lichens, and so their attempt on his life fails spectacularly.
Yeah.
And they get their asses handed to them. But McKinley, on the other hand, has no idea about lichens. So he gets mortally wounded and then dies. And so now the werewolves' worst thing comes to pass. Teddy Roosevelt is now president.
All right.
And so, montage of Teddy Roosevelt being president for 8 years.
You done screwed up,
He done screwed up.
werewolves.
He does a bunch of good things, and some, with this montage, kind of what they did in the first movie with Lincoln being president. Like, things happen, presidential stuff. We can't hit everything, but some of the highlights of some of the good things he did. But then we also see the teddy bear incident of how the teddy bear came to be, because that's a really cool little historical nugget. But then the fun starts again after his presidency. Because after he's done being president in 1909, he goes on a hunt in Africa for the Smithsonian and the American Museum of Natural History here in the city. And while he's doing that, and killing a lot of animals and, stuffing them or whatever and sending them back, he also hunts lichens.
Yes.
So he's still doing his thing and hunting lichens through some Africa and some through Europe, which all of this is leading towards World War I, which is about to start.
Wow. Okay.
So World War I starts, and Teddy Roosevelt wants to be involved in it. But the president at the time, which is Wilson, did not want to be all that aggressive.
No, he was very isolationist.
Yes, but Roosevelt was like, "We need to get involved."
Upon doing research for this stuff, do you realize you remember a lot more about presidents than you thought?
No.
Oh.
This is all Wikipedia.
Oh, okay.
This is like, whoa, wait a second.
Oh, did you take? The AP U.S. History exam was the only test I got a 5 on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, this is all Wikipedia. Like, wait a second, I don't remember some of the stuff, but like, okay, yep, this helps. I'll take that nugget and that nugget and that nugget. So he really wants to get involved in World War I, but Wilson's like, no. But he's like, I've set up some special units that we can just send to help the Allies, and Wilson's like, we're not doing that. But through Roosevelt's contacts, he finds out that there are lichens helping or about to ally with the Germans. So, like behind everyone's back, he gets some of the Rough Riders together, and he goes on a secret mission to take out the lichens who are about to help Germany. And, there's a whole, little third act battle, and they invade a castle. They kill an influential lichen out of nowhere. But, not out of nowhere.
Pope. I got it.
Yeah, pretty much, Werewolf Pope, yeah.
Werewolf Pope. He's not the good one. He's the werewolf one. Werewolf Pope.
So cool, cool Act 3 battle against lichens and the Rough Riders. It's really cool in Germany or somewhere in Europe because of World War I. It's cool, but Roosevelt gets gravely wounded. So survives the day, wins the day. World War I ends soon after because the backup's not coming from the lichen. So the Allies.
Sorry,
win.
I'm just thinking of rhyme schemes for the Werewolf Pope song now. Something of like Eucharist, he'll bite your wrist. Like,
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, what are you saying?
Abandoned all hope.
Werewolf Pope. From a pope to a goon, under the full moon, Werewolf Pope. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
The minute I said that, I was like, I'm not listening at all. I'm just singing.
It's quite all right.
This is a little hat.
Yeah.
Anyways, keep going. What's up?
Oh, this is the end.
Oh, okay.
He beats the lichen, but he's gravely wounded. A little time later, he dies at home. Henry comes back and talks to him a little bit about like
That actually works really well.
Hey, I heard about
and
what happened.
It has the same flow of the original.
Yeah. What happened? Teddy Roosevelt died in his sleep, and due to like a clot.
Having done everything,
having defeated the lichens, having to help defeat stop World War I, he died in his sleep in New York City in 1919.
New York City.
New York City. So basically, it's the same movie all over again, just with Teddy Roosevelt and lichens.
If I had to change one thing,
Sure.
it would be when all the New York scenes in the beginning,
Yeah.
everyone just needs to be eating pizza.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, you're right. Everyone in New York City eats
You
pizza.
failed to.
I failed to. Yep.
Everyone's got to be eating pizza.
Forgot the pizza montage. Yep,
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, maybe
completely
that's
forgot
why Roosevelt's out practicing. He's like, everyone's just eating pizza while doing something, and I don't have a thing to do while I'm eating pizza. So I got to figure out what my thing is while I'm eating pizza, because that's how New York works.
That is how New York
How are we
works.
going to do an opening montage if everyone's not eating pizza?
I don't know, Jay.
I think there are a lot of people that didn't listen to our Ninja Turtles episode because we know it's our least listened to. Fix that.
Is it? I believe it's the princess, which
Oh well, yeah. I mean, that's to be expected.
sure, okay, sure.
That's fine. That one was for us,
That
and we
was,
both
yeah.
know it. And this one is pseudo for just for us as well.
Kinda. This is fun though. This is a good one.
That was a great fix, dude. I like that quite a bit.
Thanks. Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt did so much. Man, that guy is. He was a character. He did
Oh yeah, man.
highly influential.
Yeah.
Only 60. Good lord.
Yeah, it's nuts.
What are we doing with our lives?
I know.
Jesus.
I know. I'll make it to 60, maybe.
No, you're talking about.
You saying I'm not going to?
No, he's gonna make it.
Okay,
yeah.
good. Okay,
Way
good.
past 60. All right.
Okay.
Big old notebook.
It's Jay's time to fix it.
Yes. I've been told this is a manuscript that is quite possibly the best thing you've ever written.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right.
Jay's fixed.
My movie. If we are making a movie in the line of Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter,
Yes.
my movie opens on the morning of July 4th, 1776.
Okay.
Thomas Jefferson has just finished the last line of the Declaration of Independence. He has penned it. It just needs to be signed
Sure.
by everyone, by all of the people who are this Continental Congress.
Mm-hmm.
So, he sends the document to he sends it by page boy to like the Continental Congress, and he's like, I will go and I will fetch everyone that needs to sign the Declaration of Independence.
Sure.
And he finds his long co-conspirator George Washington
Uh-huh.
and John Adams.
Yep.
And he takes them, and they go. They approach the building where they're going to sign the Declaration of Independence,
Right.
And they realize that their friend Benjamin Franklin
Yes.
is not present.
Oh,
is
no.
not privy, and so they need to go find him. They're like, Ben has been drinking somewhere. Like, I don't know where he's. And there's a storm coming. Like, we need to get him very quickly.
Sure.
And so they go out to go find Ben Franklin. They find out he's in the middle of the field.
Uh-oh,
And
okay.
Ben Franklin is flying a kite in the
Yeah.
storm with a key.
Sure.
And George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and John Adams see a lightning bolt strike the key for Benjamin Franklin. The lightning bolt travels down through Ben Franklin into this contraption he's hooked up to this key and kite, which was very conveniently left out of any of the artist rendering or any of the storytelling of Ben Franklin and the key and the lightning bolt. And the device opens up a portal.
Oh, God.
And they're like, Benjamin, like, get away! And there's an explosion, and the portal is like, just like electricity shooting everywhere. And they're from the portal, out comes just like a humble Triceratops. And they think it's some kind of like mythical beast or something, and all of these herbivores start coming through, and they get Ben back. They sign the Declaration of Independence, but like a lot of these herbivores like start becoming beasts of burden for the American Revolution. Like Philadelphia is like full of dinosaur labor, and anytime like a predator comes out of the portal,
Sure.
they take care of it.
Oh.
And so the portal stays open.
Oh, it just. Oh, wow.
And they get all the like herbivores, and like they rear them, basically, till eventually there is during the American Revolution,
Yeah.
the British catch wind of
Dino power?
Dino power,
Yeah.
of the Dino portal, and they dispatch all the people guarding the portal that's open, and they just they basically like put out chum and basically lure a bunch of like Tyrannosauruses and Velociraptors and like predators
Oh, no.
into Philadelphia. And so we get an adventure known as Thomas Jefferson Dinosaur Hunter. but he's also got dinosaur friends because he's riding on Triceratops.
Dinosaur friends.
So basically, it leads to Thomas Jefferson hunting dinosaurs and killing the British, who are also fighting with the Tyrant. They have become friends.
They've somehow befriended a T-Rex.
And so the T-Rexes become redcoats and they get killed. So they wrap all that up and they take care of that, and America wins the war, and that's amazing. And they decide when it's all said and done that they need to close the portal.
Yeah.
But before they're able, they disable the machine to close the portal, and the portal closes, but then spurts open again, and it's a different color, and out walks another Ben Franklin. This is a Ben Franklin who has been lost to time from a different dimension.
Oh, a multidimensional Ben
Franklin. It's a multidimensional Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
And he walks through.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, "Oh my God, you're here. What year is it?"
What year is it?
I've been in here forever.
He's got big old bushy beard.
I've been here, you have no idea. You're Thomas Jefferson. You're George Washington. You're John So they're still presidents. They're like, what?
What?
I mean, George is president now, but so yes. And he takes them to a pub, Sam Adams' pub.
Sure.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Even though that's in Boston.
That's in Boston, but sure, yeah, whatever. It franchised out.
Yeah, Sam just is there, and he's like, I brought beer. This multidimensional Ben Franklin with our Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and George Washington and John Adams, they discover that they discover the dark secret of the multiverse.
Oh my! Oh.
Is that the American president is responsible for guarding the American public and the world at large from multidimensional threats. And so we set up a universe in which the American president is the guardian and keeper of all things multidimensional or supernatural in this country.
So this is like an origin tale.
This is the first movie of 46. Well, technically 43, because we already had George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and John Adams.
Sure.
And so that the movie ends, and they're like, well, what do we know to expect? And multidimensional Ben Franklin looks right into the camera, like Dame Judi Dench in the movie Cats, and just says, anything. And so, end of film. And at the very end, it says, the president will return. Next movie.
Wait, what?
James Madison. James Madison and the Mole Wizards from the center of the earth. And then the movie after that will be James Monroe, Song of the Merfolk. And that's where we get the first appearance of Atlantis. And James Monroe not only has to like basically fight for the burgeoning America, but also form a peace with Atlantis and their merfolk.
Oh my God.
And then we move on to John Quincy Adams. The title of his movie is John Quincy Adams, Bane of Genies. The tagline being, be careful what you wish for.
No.
And then
This keeps going?
And then we move on to Andrew Jackson, the Bigfoot Basher. The tagline being, looks like we're going to need a bigger cane. Also, I kind of wanted to try and, he had a lot to answer for with all of his Native American crimes, so I figured Bigfoot probably is taking to task, being like, hey, bud, you're a war criminal.
Yeah, you know what good call, yeah.
And then we move on to Martin Van Buren versus the Golem Gang of Guster Gulch. It's kind of a wacky romp where Martin Van Buren has to fight a bunch of Golem cowboys. And then we move on to William Henry Harrison, Curse of the Cyber Lich. Because William Henry Harrison died during his presidency.
Yeah, he did.
And then, so basically, like, this movie is kind of like it's an extended pick. Because William Henry Harrison dies a month into his presidency.
Yeah.
And the reason he dies a month into his presidency is that he was not strong enough for the call for the presidential appointment of guiding the multiverse.
Yeah.
And so John Tyler inevitably has to fight William Henry Harrison because William Henry Harrison died and became a cyber lich. So John Tyler has to go into the cyber realm, which hasn't technically been invented
Not yet. Hundreds of years away.
Yeah, so he has to go through a time tunnel with multidimensional Ben Franklin to fight the
At least he's got
cyber
backup.
lich.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, the cyber phylactery, we're not sure what that's going to be. Maybe like a USB drive. I'm not sure. And then we move on to James K. Polk, original Ghostbuster. The tagline being, I ain't afraid of no Polk.
I hate you so much.
And then we move on to Zachary Taylor. Fight like hell. Zachary Taylor died in office but very early, but he gets accidentally sent to hell and has to fight his way out.
Not even death releases him from his contract.
No. He realizes that was like him dying as president was part of his presidential like seal of the multiverse. Was that like I was actually called to fight through hell because I was the president. So it like has like an uplifting thing. Like, oh, I could have done so many amazing things as president. It's like, no, like this was your responsibility.
You needed to fight hell.
We salute you. We gotta fight like hell. And then we move on to Millard Fillmore and the Haunting of the Golden Corral, where Millard Fillmore fights ghosts in a mid-tier buffet franchise. And then we have Franklin Pierce, Curse of the Leprechauns. That one writes itself.
That's easy, yeah.
James Buchanan.
Ooh.
Loch Ness Racer.
Wait. Loch Ness Racer?
Yes, James Buchanan is tasked with taming the Loch Ness Monster and winning a cryptozoological race.
Yep.
To save the rec center.
Yeah.
And then Abraham Lincoln, who's a vampire. I mean, that movie, we already have that movie, so that's good. We got one in the can. And then we move on to Andrew Johnson, Medusa's Revenge. Johnson versus Gorgon. That's yep. This is one of my favorites. Ulysses S. Grant, Rumpelstiltskin's Reaper. And it's Ulysses S. Grant in the trailer, like, cocking a gun, like, psh, psh, time to make some hay. And then we move on to Rutherford B. Hayes.
Oh, yeah.
Versus the 1985 Chicago Bears. Mike Ditka fights Hayes on top of the Jumbotron for the fate of the Super Bowl.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a fun one.
Yeah,
that's for the whole family.
That was out left field. Yeah.
And then we have James A. Garfield hates Mondays. In a cartoon mashup, he fights his way through the comic book pages to prove who's the best Garfield.
Okay.
Chester A. Arthur versus the invasion of the cyborg pimps. What's a cyborg pimp?
What's a cyborg pimp?
I don't know. Are they pimps that are cyborgs, or do they pimp out cyborgs?
We're gonna find out next summer.
Grover Cleveland versus the Vortex Basilisks.
Oh God.
Benjamin Harrison. This is Vortex Basilisk Part 2, Weekend at Cleveland's. Benjamin Harrison puppets a dead Grover Cleveland through the vortex to defeat all the basilisks. Grover Cleveland's second movie, because he was president,
Yeah.
then not, and then
Yeah.
president again.
Yeah.
Grover Cleveland in Vortex Basilisk Part 3, brought back to life with cyber pimp technology. Cleveland fights and defeats the Vortex Basilisks with the help of Zachary Taylor, who finally fought his way out of hell. The last remaining golem of Guster Gulch, and Mike Ditka piloting a mech powered by Rumpelstiltskin magic.
When did you write these?
Way too late last night.
Yep, that's what I. Yep, I had a feeling. This is 3 a.m. Jay. This is peak 3 a.m. Jay.
And then, so that's like a big, like the Grover Cleveland thing, like having
That's a huge arc.
That's a huge arc.
Yeah.
So we kind of like reset. We get William McKinley, zombie accountant, Theodore Roosevelt, werewolf hunter. There we go.
Nailed it.
And then we have William Howard Taft in Swamp Things from the Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's swamps.
Yeah. The Dark Side of the Moon is a swamp. Did you know that it is
No,
a swamp?
I didn't know.
Well, you're going to learn a lot about that swamp. We have Woodrow Wilson, Witch Watcher, because that's fun to say. Woodrow Wilson, Witch Watcher. Woodrow Wilson, Witch Watcher.
Woodrow Wilson, Witch Watcher.
Which, as a nerdy president joke, it's mostly his wife that does all of the work, because you don't.
Isn't that for? No, that's FDR, isn't it?
No, it's Woodrow
Oh,
Wilson.
Wilson's the one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like the last year of his presidency, like nobody saw him, and everyone was like, "Hey, well, how's Woodrow?" And they're like, "He's fine.
All's well.
It's great." And then we have Warren G. Harding, Honey, We Shrunk the President, and that's where they get shrunk down. Yep. And then we move on to Calvin Coolidge
Oh boy.
versus the interdimensional gel hydras. Hydras, but squishy. I don't know what a gel hydra is. It's just what my brain said. And then we move on to a classic Herbert Hoover versus Alien versus Predator.
It doesn't matter who wins. We all lose.
And then we have Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Descent into the Feywild. The tagline being, never make a new deal. Then we have Harry S. Truman, Banshee Masseuse. And then we have Dwight D. Eisenhower versus the Black Lagoon's Coast Guard. It's mostly a bureaucratic norm corps. It's a lot of paperwork dealing like, we think there's a monster down here. We're not totally sure.
Sure.
Yeah, it's mostly just
Yeah.
It's a think piece. And then we have John F. Kennedy, Revenge of the Rumpelstiltskins. More rumple, more stiltskins.
Two Rumple, two Stiltskins.
Two Rumpelstiltskins. That's a better one, damn it. And then we have Lyndon B. Johnson and the disastrous taxation of the ogre realm.
Oh my God.
Richard Nixon, Unicorn Whisperer. I am not a crook, but I'm a unicorn in disguise. That's okay. It was late.
Yeah.
Gerald Ford and the day the Mannequin Nation attacked. Just Gerald Ford beating up a bunch of mannequins.
Sure.
Jimmy Carter, Cyclops Comptroller. Ronald Reagan, Minotaur Rancher. He marks his way through the labyrinth with jelly beans. It's very cute.
Aw.
We have George Herbert Walker Bush,
Yeah.
Wrath of the Mega Hydras.
Mega Hydras?
Not gel hydras
Not-
this
yeah.
time, mega hydras, and I'm realizing I used hydras twice. I'm
Twice,
very
yeah.
upset with myself.
You should, yeah.
Bill Clinton, Gargoyles of the Traveling Pants. I don't know what they mean.
Those don't wear pants.
They do now. George W. Bush and the Gnome Strike of 2002.
The Gnome Strike.
And Barack Obama boxes Dorian Gray for charity. And then we have Donald J. Trump, The Dark Portal Awakens. And those are all of my president movies. Did I get all of them? Was that
No,
all of
you're
them?
missing one.
Which one?
Biden.
Joe Biden?
Yeah, what does Joe Biden do?
Oh, it's yet to be seen.
Oh.
Yeah.
We gotta wait until the presidency is over before we get the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can't just do it. I mean, maybe he's still doing it.
He
I don't want to blow his cover.
probably is.
Yeah, man. He might be fighting. He might be.
I mean, Dark Brandon may be fighting somebody right now while Light Joe is doing
a
something.
whole mess of Rumpelstiltskins. Cut to Kimberly last night, just being like, "Why do you keep saying Rumpelstiltskin to yourself?" I was like, "It's the funniest bad guy." Or the Golem gang from Coast to Culture. So those are all of my. That's the whole. We got a whole franchise.
You got a whole franchise.
Right
There's
here.
a lot of
Right
yep.
here.
There's a lot of winners in there.
Can you believe it?
You know what? I can't actually believe it. That is, Brian, you okayed this.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I can do Thomas Jefferson, Dinosaur Hunter, or I can do every single one. He was like, it's obviously the second one.
Yeah.
He was like, do you have time to do that? I was like, yeah, I mean, it's just like, you're just writing one-liners. And he was like, yeah, duh. It's like, why you did? Oh, yeah, just go nuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that was insane. That was a nice little peek behind the curtain of what Jay's brain is like at 3 a.m.
Yeah, gel hydras, baby. They're going to get you. And they're squishy. You cut off one hand, it goes, and then another one. They're gross.
They're super gross.
I don't like them.
I mean, it's a CR of at least 18, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my fix.
I mean, yep. Once again, only really two options.
Did you think that I had everyone for every president?
No. I thought you had a detailed list of Thomas Jefferson, Dinosaur Hunter.
Oh, no.
I thought it was going to be like, you said I got 4 pages. Like, oh my God, he wrote some
no.
freaking details about Thomas Jefferson.
We've got the multiverse of of multiversal Ben Franklin. They're multiverse, but they're multiverse Ben Franklin movies.
Yeah.
They're not really
It's
president
like a council
movies.
of Franklins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And National Treasure 3 also fits in there somewhere.
Well, I only assumed they're the ones that wrote the damn book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure where to go from here. I feel like I've just kind of like ran it up the flagpole.
Yep.
I think we did it.
We definitely did something, Jay. I think we broke a lot of minds tonight.
Yeah. I think Joe Biden's he's drinking. It's like Joe Biden and like the Coca-Cola Bears fight.
Oh, together.
The zombie San Antonio Spurs.
Oh my God. I was gonna go. You know what? No, they're fighting zombie Krampus.
Zombie Krampus to save Christmas.
To save Christmas, yeah.
Because Donald J. Trump opened the dark portal.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Go get him, Dark Brandon.
Oh, you get double Stiltskins. Well, I think we did it, everybody. Thank you guys for listening to our episode. If you're listening to this in any of the podcatcher apps, if you wouldn't mind just taking a second, guys, just do this. Just look, you're all listening. We know there's so many of you listening right now, and we're so glad you're here. Write a review. Leave us 5 stars. Or don't. If you don't think it's a 5-star podcast, I understand. After what just happened here.
We'll take a 4.
We'll take a 4. That's fine. Just write a review. I like to see them. It makes me happy. As much as it helps the show, yada, 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 that whole spiel.
And it does really help.
I just like seeing them. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, you know how to do this.
Yeah,
just
you do.
like, subscribe, hit the bell, do that YouTube that you do so well. You know how to be a good steward to the content that you like. So just make it happen, people. Yeah. I'm exhausted. Let's land this plane.
That was a lot of one-liners, bud. That is.
As we end every episode, heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
It's the slow Rumpelstiltskins from the Dark Dimension. From the
Let's make some hay.
That you never see coming, Jay.
We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
You absolute Chad of a mad lad.